Hey guys, my name is Kathy Riccardi. I'm with Canvas Creations. Today we are going to be painting this cute little fox. So grab your paintbrushes, get your paints ready, and put your imagination caps on, and let's get creative and paint. All right, so the colors we're going to be using today are turquoise. My brush already got on that, sorry. Some orange, green, white, black, and some dark pink. So we're going to be painting a fox today. So the first thing I am going to do, we're using two brushes, by the way, I'm sorry. We're using a medium brush and also a liner brush. So the first thing I'm going to do is I just kind of want to sketch a little bit of how we're going to actually put this on the canvas here. A lot of different pieces on here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white and I'm going to put it in the middle of my paint palette or my paper plate. Let me hold this up so you can see it. A little bit of white there. And I'm going to pick up just the tiniest amount of black, about that much black. I'm going to mix it up. I want to make the lightest of gray. And I want to use that light gray just really to kind of just outline what I want to do. And we're going to paint over this light gray, so it's fine. So I want to make a nice tall fox in the background, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I am going to make a football shape. But my football shape is gonna have 2 points in the side that are gonna curl up a little bit. So basically what I do is I'm gonna start here. This is the fox's head. I'm gonna come in and just bring it up like this. It almost reminds me of a clam. Okay, and then I'm gonna just come in and swoop right under that. So it's kind of a little like a football shape, right guys? Then over here, I want to do the fox's body. So right in the center, I'm just going to come in. This is my center. I know this is going to be one side of the body. This is going to be two very big parentheses. So one parenthesis is going to come on this side all the way down. And one parenthesis is going to come this way all the way down. Okay? So they're curved a little bit, right? Then I want to come in and I want to do the back legs. So the back leg is going to come up a little bit and then down. Okay. And then we have this back leg. So we want to make it the same height as this other leg. So we're going to come in and do that same motion but opposite. So up and then down. All right. I'm going to pick up a little more of my light gray. I want to give my fox some ears. So that's just basically, we're going to do a triangle. But our triangle is not going to have a bottom because we're going to attach it to the side of the head, top of the head. I'm just going to kind of come in and there's one triangle. Just fix that line. And then we'll come in and we'll put another triangle in here. Okay. You could also, if you wanted to, make this into a cat. All you would do is make a different tail. Keep that in mind also for another craft project. So I want to come in and I want to add my fox's tail. Now fox's tails are really big and bushy. So I'm going to come in here, push it out, and it's going to come to a point. I'm going to bring it, just arch it and straight, whoop, arch it and bring it right to where our leg starts. So just so we have an idea of where we're going to put this, okay? Now, in the background also, I also want to separate, kind of like here, I'm going to realize that is where my sky is going to go and then where my green grass is going to go. So I have some white trees in the background, all right? Rather than sketching the white trees in, I am just going to take my medium brush, and I already accidentally got some turquoise on there. I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to come down, and instead of outlining the white, I'm actually going to do the reverse. I'm going to paint in between where I want it. So it's almost going to be a little bit of an optical illusion. So what I like to do first is come down, and I'm going to actually put one tree here. Maybe the tree starts here at a little bit of an angle. And then I'm going to come in a little bit and kind of come up, and I'll make the letter Y. All right, that is one tree we're going to use. So now I want to just paint the background in. So I'm just kind of just picking my paint, coming in. And if you want to, you can always, I just picked up a little bit of water on my brush. I'm just picking some water up. In fact, I'm going to just bring this turquoise all the way down here. because it will smooth better. The day I'm painting, actually today, it's a bit humid out, a little warm. And then I'm just kind of gonna hold my brush this way and just press and kind of like lift up till it like disappears a little bit. I'm not gonna make lines or anything on here. Then on this side, I'm gonna come in and let me just paint this in. So this will be one tray, just so you guys can see it. And we'll paint in the middle here. I think this is a little easier for you guys rather than sketching the trees out and then painting between the trees. That gets to be a little pain in the neck. So I'm just using the top of the brush. And just painting alongside that, okay? So there is one tree. And there's also one loud bird in my backyard, I hear. Okay, let's come on this side. So I want to put another tree over here. So I'm going to just come in, and maybe this tree isn't perfectly straight, and that's fine. Trees don't have to go straight all the time. I'm going to just put my line here and bring it up as far as it'll go. And then maybe a little line will be over here, and this will be another tree. So that'll be another tree there. So I'm going to just come in, picking up a little bit of water on my brush. Do the sides a little bit. I'm just going to bring the turquoise all the way down, I think, on this side. And I'm just going to use the brush, the top part of the brush, not the side, because I'm kind of like a little bit close to all the side over here. And I'm just going to just slowly paint this in and paint around. I'm just going to go right on top of that gray area that we sketched out. Just use the top of the brush. I'm just going to paint that in. I'm getting here too. Good. Now let's talk about a couple other trees. We're just going to add a few wherever you want. You don't have to add that many, just a couple of them here and there. I might put a tree coming up this way. Maybe my tree is going to have a line up here, and it's going to go this way, my tree. I'm going to put one here and bring it all the way up. So we'll paint that in. Maybe that one doesn't have any branches on it, or maybe I'll add a branch later. That's okay. Just bring that turquoise down. And I'm gonna paint this area in. Now each time I paint this, it does come out different, but they are similar. So yours is gonna come out a little different from mine. Everybody paints uniquely. But put your own creative touch on how you wanna put your trees. You don't have to copy mine 100% either. Maybe this one's gonna come, I'm gonna put a tree just like this. And I'll put a little line up here so I know there, and maybe that one's gonna have, there we go. You don't need a lot, you just wanna have a little bit of an interesting background with some trees. You don't wanna have it all turquoise. Whoops. Now my turquoise, as you can see, just bled through. You can use a paper towel to get that. I have a little too much water on my brush, and that happens. So it's kind of good. You guys see that when you have a little bit of a mishap, you just make do with it and you make it work. You could always paint over it. You could use your paper towel as well to kind of dab it. I just caught mine in time with my finger. That works as well. I'm just gonna get that on there. Again, if we don't like something, we could just paint over it. There really are no mistakes in painting, so keep that in mind. And I'll go around here. Okay. And I am just gonna paint this one in the background, all turquoise. And I wanna get the top too. Now I just realized I kind of just painted this in a little bit and I shouldn't have, but you know what? That's why we have white paint. We will just paint over that later and we'll add some little branches to the background and nobody will know. Okay. This way. Okay, so we'll paint all of that in. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is let's let the background dry. We'll come back to the background in a little bit. Let's come and talk about the green. So we're gonna take our medium brush again, okay? And I'm gonna load it up with some green. And what I wanna do is, let me just move this forward, it's on an easel. I'm gonna take the brush, start from the bottom and go up, okay? So we're gonna push the brush down, okay? Push, 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 push. And we're gonna go right on top of the green. We are making some grass on here. So it's push, 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 and then on top. So we're kind of making some tall pieces of grass. And then we'll add some flowers on here also, just to give some interest. But we're just gonna take it and then the same thing over here. Whoops. Now I don't want to paint into the fox on this. I want to just kind of paint around the fox. So I'm just kind of going to go around. We'll do this and just paint that down. We can always touch that up later. And my brush picked up a little bit of white on here, and that's okay. Just gonna get that in there. Really good. Okay. So let's talk about, oops, you know what I did notice here? I'm sorry, I missed this little section here, or the turquoise. Let's just get this background. For this, I'm using the liner brush, and I'm just kind of going in very carefully. It's kind of close to my fox. That's okay, we'll just paint that in. Okay, we will clean that out in a little bit. All right, so we're still gonna let the background dry. Let's talk about our fox. I'm gonna come in with our medium brush. You might wanna actually use the liner brush first. I'm actually gonna use the liner brush. I'm gonna pick up orange, okay? And those gray lines that we put into sketch before. I wanna take my liner brush, the same thing that I did with the gray color, but I have orange on it now. I'm just gonna come in and I just wanna kind of go around them. Actually, right on top of them I wanna go, just to hide it. And what's good is you can always, as you do this, make something a little bigger. If you don't like how that turquoise looked here and there, you can actually paint a little bit around it. So I'm just coming in and I wanna leave a little spot. I'm just making a smaller triangle here to put the foxes inside of the ear, okay? So I'll come over here and I'm just going to outline that again. And outline here. And then I'm just kind of going to just paint it in a little bit. But I want to leave the white there because we're going to put some pink in that in a little bit. All right. Then we'll come over And we're just going to do the top part of the fox here. So let's go over that initial line that we did. Again, I'm using that liner brush and just kind of holding it and going over it. You want to cover that gray color that we put on before. And we'll bring that out. So let's talk about our fox. We're going to come right to the middle where his nose is going to be. So all I'm going to do is put a dot here. That's the middle. That's where his nose is going to be, or her nose. I'm going to come in and I'm going to make 2 arches. So I'm just going to come in with my liner brush and I'm going to come up halfway and then bring it over to that little side that we did. We'll come over here. We'll push it, push it, push it halfway, and we'll bring it over. Okay. So this is going to be the section. Everything from here on up is going to have that orange color. Now, if it's easier for you to use the medium brush to fill in, by all means, grab that medium brush. I am going to just use the liner brush for it. I think that's a little easier for me. But again, that is totally up to you. You're just going to do small little strokes, and you're really using the top part of the brush, which is good practice for your liner brush also. So I am applying some pressure to this. I'm just kind of gotta go here a little bit. Sometimes the turquoise might bleed through the orange and it might need a second touch up, which is fine. I always like to let the paint dry first, but like I said, it's so humid today. Okay, so we have that going. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to come down to the body. We're going to take the liner brush again, and we're just going to cover that line up. And we'll cover this line up for the body. Again, these were 2 really long parentheses, right? So I have that, and I just want to get the legs done, the back legs first. We're going to go over again with the liner brush. And we'll paint this in. This leg here, the back leg, is going to be all orange. The other leg is going to have some orange and black, and we'll get to that in a minute. So we'll fill this in nice and orange. Take your time with it. If you happen to see streaks, let it dry and then go back with the orange again. And it'll cover it. And we'll get this one. Oh, the crazy bird is back, my loud bird outside. Okay, so we'll paint that in also. Now let's talk about here. We're gonna just put an imaginary line down to the middle, and it's just basically gonna be the top of a heart. That's all we're gonna be doing basically here, because we're gonna actually make 2 little legs on the front. So this is the top of a heart. We're gonna just bring it down this way. And then I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna make this side a little bit bigger of my heart. So there's the top of a heart. There we go. That's going to stay white. Everything from here down is going to have the orange to it, okay? So again, I'm taking that liner brush. You can use the medium brush too if you like. That's totally up to you, whatever you feel more comfortable with. And I'm not going to bring this all the way down because I know we're going to use some black on here. So I'll bring it down a little bit. Okay. Same thing here. And then we're going to fit this in. There we go. Okay, let's talk about the tail. We're almost done, guys, with our fox. We're going to come with our tail. We're going to come over and we're going to outline the tail. Not the top of the tail, just the bottom. So we outline it first. And then up here, where it's going to be white in the very tip, I'm just going to make a little zigzag. Just a little zigzag with the brush. And I'm going to know from there up, that's going to be white. And we'll get to that in a little bit when we go back to our white color. So we'll paint this in. Again, you might want to use the medium brush for this one. It's a bigger area. Might go a little faster for you. I'm going to just stay with this. Okay, so we have that going. Nice. Just want to get this little piece here of the turquoise to make sure it's all covered. Yep. Okay. All right, moving along. I'm going to take this, put this in the water. Okay. Now I want to go and I want to address the background before I start going on to the fox a little bit. I'm going to, again, use my liner brush and I'm going to pick up that white. Okay. So I just want to go through and all I want to do is just kind of tidy up my white trees in the back. So I'm just basically taking the brush and just kind of painting in that white area. If you have any, you'll see here I have a little bit of turquoise kind of coming through. And as long as your background's dry, I'm just going to take the turquoise and just totally paint over it in white. And they will look like nice crisp trees. I'm going to do the same thing over here to this one. Just going to pick up that white. Bring it all the way up. Or down, whatever's easier for you, up or down. I just want to have a nice smooth line for my tree. And then over here, I'm going to just keep on bringing that up. Just make sure you don't touch your orange. You want to make sure your orange is dry. Now before when I did it, I kind of covered up with the turquoise, the tree. So, whoops. My turquoise wasn't 100% dry, but that's okay. We're just going to paint over that a little bit. Now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of a branch to here because this is kind of going off to the side. So I'm starting from the trunk of the tree and just pulling out and away. And I'm kind of holding the brush down this way. And then over here, I'm just going to come over here and whoop, pull it out and away. Okay. We'll come over to this one. I'm going to do the same exact thing that we did before. We're just going to paint our tree in. Get a nice tree and kind of get a nice line to it. And get it up here. And then let's add a little bit of a line, a branch right here. There's a branch there, and maybe there's one over here. There we go. And then we'll come over here and down below, and we'll just paint that one in. And then on this one also, the last one. Just kind of, I'm using the side of the brush. And I'm just really pressing down on that rounder brush. Just pressing it a little bit, making sure my lines are crisp. Maybe this one will just add another little branch to it. What do you think? Just so we know it's some trees back here. That's all. Okay, I like it. All right, so now what we have to do, let's go to his tail. I'm going to pick up that white and we're just going to paint this in. Just going to add a little white to it. Stay away from your orange if it's wet. I'm gonna come to the middle here and I'm just gonna add a little bit of white to crisp it up. And again, I am using the liner brush for this. I think it's a small area. Just to get that going. And then over here, I'm gonna just come down and I just wanna fix the area. I wanna cover up that little area that we had for our line with the gray in the beginning. I just wanna cover that up with some white. And then we'll let that dry. And we'll paint that all in. Okay, so let's let the back dry. Let's come over here and let's talk about some colors. I'm gonna pick up my pink and I'm just gonna add a little flower to it. So I'm gonna come in and I'm just gonna kind of make a little bit of a U color, a U shape rather, and then come right in the middle. I'm gonna make a little bit of a tulip. So I might add 1 or 2 little tulips here, and then while I have that pink in the brush, I'm gonna pick up some of my white and I'm gonna make a lighter shade of that pink. And I'm gonna put one over here. And maybe there's one over here, a little tulip is blooming. Again, it's just a U and I'm just kind of just touching and I'm pulling that paint out. And let's put one over here. Okay. Then, being that we have that nice light color, I'm gonna add a little more white to it. And I'm gonna come in and I'm just gonna touch a little bit up here. Just a little bit. And a little up here for the ear. Just to add a little color. And then I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna just put a circle here of that very light pink. And how do we make those circles? Very simple. We just make 2 C's. So we put a C, and then we put another C, and then we fill the middle in. So our fox is smiling and has a little bit of blush on. So we're going to clean our brush out now. And now let's go to the black. I'm still using that liner brush. And I definitely want to make sure, because I'm using black, make sure your brush is nice and dry. Okay? I'm going to pick up that liner brush. I am going to come in. And what I want to do is on the 2 little sides of his front legs, we didn't go down all the way. We kind of left it white here. So I'm going to just take that. And I am just going to fill this area in with a little bit of black. But when I go up, I'm kind of going to go up and let it go, up and let it go. And I'm going to make the black different sizes. It's just different markings of the fox. So it's going to be a very light stroke when you go up to the very top. I'm not really using a lot of pressure at all. I'm just kind of like just touching. And some areas are going to be longer and some will be shorter. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to fill the bottom in with our black. Get a good amount of black on your brush. And we'll fill it in here. And then we're just going to use the very top of the brush. Touch and pull. And again, very light we're doing it. We're not really putting a lot of pressure. I'm barely touching the canvas on this. Okay. Now we have to add our fox's nose, which is going to be right over here. So I'm going to just take the brush, put a good amount of black onto it, and I am just going to touch, kind of just wiggle that around to make it a little bit of a oval. Okay. Then I'm going to take my liner brush again. I'm going to pick up my black. And we are going to make the eyes. So basically for this is going to be a very light stroke. All we're going to do is come in and just touch it and pull it. Now, my brush had a little bit of water on because I grabbed a new brush. So let's see what's going to happen, if it's going to bleed or not. And then all I do is once I have that stroke on there, I'm just going to come in and I just add a little bit of eyelash to it. I think we'll be okay. And that is going to be our fox. Now, what you can do, what you can do is you have to make sure everything is dry on here. You have two choices. One, you could wait till everything dries and take a black Sharpie and then do your outline, okay? Or two, if you wanted to, we're gonna just redraw basically the fox to put some outlines on it, or you can even leave it like this. That's totally your preference of how you wanna do it. I'm gonna use the liner brush and I'm just gonna kind of go in and I'm just gonna gently go around everything. And the trick to the liner brush is you need to make sure you have it full of the black paint. So I'm kind of like going in and reloading it. Each time I need to do an area. So see the difference? You can either leave it plain or you can outline it like that if you wanted to. I'm going to go in and just outline this side. And when I am outlining, I really am controlling the brush. So I kind of am holding it a little close to the barrel. If some areas come out a little thicker, that is fine. You don't have to be so consistent on it. This is a very whimsical piece. Maybe I'll come in here and I will also outline our little heart that we did before. And also keep in mind the black covers up a lot too. So if your lines were not super crisp, and if you got a little bit of orange in the white or the white in the orange, if it's in the outline area, you could just outline it. And nobody will be the wiser. That's one good thing about outlines. So I'm just picking this up. Coming on the side, bringing it in. And then we'll do the same thing over here also. Just kind of coming in. And just slowly go around it. You just want to make sure again that you have enough black on your paintbrush. And we'll do the top also. We'll paint this here out. And this here as well. This side. And then what I'm going to do here, just bring it through. Whoops. I ran a little bit out of paint on that side. Okay. And that is it. So the last thing that you have to do is you want to sign your work. So you're going to take your liner brush after you clean it out, whatever color you want to paint in. I'm going to sign in a dark pink. And you just initial it wherever you would like. I usually go on the bottom right hand side. And that is it. So I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Keep on painting, be creative, say imaginative, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks so much.